All right, AS06 Solutions. So the warm-up's pretty straightforward, just a little coloring. That's 1/3, 1 out of 3. Let's see, shade 2/3, 2 out of 3. Very straightforward. Now we're looking at 4 out of 3. So here is 3 out of 3. And we will add in a 4th. And 5/3. So that's 3/3, 4/3, 5/3. So slide 6, in the circle, show the angle that is pi radians by dragging the red dot around the edge of the circle. So as we saw in that GIF on Wikipedia, that there are pi radians in a half circle. So it would just be 1/2 of the circle. All right, slide 7. In the circle below, the same pi radians have been split into 3 equal parts, so that each part is 1/3 of pi radian. In this case, we're splitting the pi radians up into thirds, so each section is pi over 3 radians, right? Each section is a third. That's 1/3, that's 2/3, and this is 3/3. That line in the middle is just the axis. It's not part of the division, so these are just 3 equally sized pieces. So what is each section in degrees? How do you know? Well, this is 180 degrees. Half a circle is 180. So then if we divide 180 into 3 parts, each one is going to be 60 degrees. 180 divided by 3 is 60. So A is the first angle, so it's 60 degrees here. And then B is 2 chunks, right? It's 2/3 of the half circle, which would be 60 plus 60, which is 120. And I explained why. So now we're going to label each angle using radians in the table below. Now remember, radians, there are pi radians in half a circle, so 1/3 of the half circle is going to be pi over 3. And then this is 2/3 of the half circle, so that's going to be 2 pi over 3. And so now this is just continuing the same way we did on on the warm-up, slide 3. Now we're still considering the top half of the circle to be the whole. And so anything beyond that is going to be more than a whole, like this was 4/3. But we're doing it with radians now. So looking back at slide 9, we've got A was pi over 3, B was 2 pi over 3. We skipped the 180, which would have been 3 pi over 3, which is pi. We already knew that. So then we're going to add one more. That's 4 pi over 3 to get to C, right? And then from C to D, we're adding one more pi over 3, so that's 5 pi over 3. So now we're going to look at it in degrees. And this is the same idea we went through on slide 7, right? This is 60 degrees, this is 60 degrees, this is 60 degrees. So pi over 3 is 60 degrees. 2 pi over 3, where B is 120 degrees. We've already seen that too. 4 pi over 3, so if this was 60 plus 60 is 120, plus 60 more is 180. That checks out, right? That straight line's 180. Then at C, we're going to add 60 more, so it's 180 plus 60, and that's 240. And then D, 5 pi over 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pi over 3. That's just 5 chunks of 60, right? 5 times 60 is 300. So slide 10, now we're dividing up into fourths. So that means this middle line is part of the division, right? We have 4 equal sized parts. So at A, we're at, well, let's think about it. We're looking in radians this time. Okay, so if this is pi radians, then A is just going to be 1/4 of pi, or pi over 4. And then B is going to be 2 pi over 4, right? But we can simplify that. 2 over 4 is the same as 1 over 2, so this is actually just pi over 2. And then C would be 1, 2, 3/4 of pi, so 3 pi over 4. And the next one is going to be just continuing that. We're going to draw some lines to, so So when we're dividing into fourths, we're really just dividing each quadrant in half. It's already divided in half once, and dividing it into fourths is just dividing in half twice. Okay, so A, we have already seen is pi over 4 radians, 2 pi over 4, which we simplified, 3 pi over 4. This would be 4 pi over 4, which simplifies to pi. But then we can keep going, right? Because that's not on our list. So D is down here. So that's 4 pi over 4. 5 pi over 4 would be D. E is just going to be 6 pi over 4, but we can simplify that. Right, 6 pi over 4, simplify. Both of those divide by 2, then you get 3 pi over 2. And then F, we're just going to add, that was 6 pi over 4, so we're going to add one more, 7 pi over 4. That does not simplify. Okay, so again, we were just adding pi over 4, 2 pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, 4 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4, 6 pi over 4, 7 pi over 4. And then a full circle would be 8 pi over 4, which simplifies to 2 pi. So now we're going to do that in degrees. I think we just need to figure out, okay, if we have 180 degrees and we're dividing it into 4 sections, then each section, 180 divided by 4 is 45. Right? And then so now we're just going to add another one, right? 45 plus 45 is 90. 90 plus 45 is 135. 135 plus 45 is 180, but we're not doing that one, so then we're just going to add another 180 plus 45 is 225. 225 plus 45 is 270, and then 270 plus 45 is 315. And now we're dividing into sixths. So that would be the same as dividing each section into thirds, each quadrant. Divided by 2, then divided by 3. That's the same as dividing by 6. So now we've got 6 parts, right? You can see 6 equal parts, and we are including this centerpiece again. So A is going to be this angle right here, which is, we're looking at radians, right? So it's just pi divided into 6 pieces. B is 2 pi over 6, but then again, we can simplify that to pi over 3. Because both of those divide by 2. And then C is 3 pi over 6, which simplifies to pi over 2. D is 4 pi over 6, which simplifies to 2 pi over 3. And you can even see that some of these numbers were starting to repeat. Remember we had pi over 2 when we were looking at this one, 45, right? And that was the 90-degree mark. And on this one, we've got, let's see, pi over 3 was way back here. And when we added 60, this is pi over 3, this is 2 pi over 3. So we're starting to repeat some of these, which will make it easier to keep track of them. And then E is, let's see, 1 pi over 6, 2 pi over 6, 3 pi over 6, 4 pi over 6, 5 pi over 6. See, 13, so we've already got all these. Let's just keep it going. Let's draw some of these lines. Okay, so I just divided each section into, each quadrant into thirds, or each half into sixths. So we've already got all these on the top half in radians, so let's just keep it going. This was 5 pi over 6. This would be 6 pi over 6, which is pi. So now we're at F, we're at 7 pi over 6. G is 8 pi over 6, which simplifies to 4 pi over 3. H is 9 pi over 6, which simplifies to 3 pi over 2. I is 10 pi over 6, which simplifies to 5 pi over 4. And then J, I can't really get it onto my screen, but it's going to be 11 pi over 6. That was just a 10. Okay, now I'm going to do it in degrees. So pi over 6, we're dividing the top half of the circle, 180 degrees, into 6 parts. So 180 divided by 6 is 30 degrees. And then we're going to add 30 more and we get 60 degrees. And that's why this lines up. This pi over 3 connects when we were doing it in chunks of 60 degrees. And same with this one is 90 degrees. That's why we saw it when we divided it into fourths. 2 pi over 3 is going to be the next 120 degrees. We're just adding 30 each time. 150 degrees. And then that puts us here. We'd add 30 more and we'd get to 180. Plus 30 more, because we skipped 180, is 210. And this is going to be 240, 270. I'm not even having to look at the picture anymore. I'm literally just adding 30. This is 300, and then this one is, this isn't 5 pi over 4. This is, there's 10 pi over 6, so it's 5 pi over 3. Yeah, there we go. And 11 pi over 6 would be 330. And now we're just going to figure out where these angles are. So in the circle, show the angle that is pi over 3 radians. So if the top over half of the circle is pi radians, then we're just going to do 1/3 of that. Pi over 3 is 1/3 of pi. This looks like about the line that we have here where we divided it into thirds. It's a little past halfway. So I'm going to try that one out. And that worked. You may have guessed maybe this one, and it would say 5 pi over 12, so that means to just like kind of fiddle with it a bit until you get it to the right spot. Let's see, 5 pi over 4. 4 pi over 4 would be halfway, right? So we're just going 1 more pi over 4 past that. So there's that one. And then 5 pi over 2. So this would be 2 pi over 2, and then this would be 4 pi over 2. So one whole circle is 4 pi over 2, or 2 pi. So then we're going to keep going past one circle and do another pi over 2. Remember, pi over 2 is a quarter of a circle. It's 1 quadrant. And it's pi over 2 is coterminal with 5 pi over 2, so this is correct. And that's AS06.